1776 when the United States gained its independence from Britain. The problem is that the state had no way of knowing beforehand that the land was being created. Because the newly found land is used up as fast as it appears, people build on these lands even while they are still mud flats. In time, all evidence of their creation is erased. It is only since 1922 and subsequently, when aerial photography was used, that a graphic record of photographic time exposures revealed the growth of new land and the departure of the sea. In other words, New Jersey discovered that the sea is receding only since the inception of aerial photography in 1922. There are, however, 20 other states with shorelines who have found that they are benefiting from the bonanza, the newfound land left behind by the receding seas. So New Jersey is now reaping the benefits of the land by selling the acreage off to casinos and hotel chains at over $10 million per acre, and that was 20 years ago. But that is not all. Now that the state realizes that the sea does recede and leaves all this land behind, they have been poring over old maps to find out where the sea was back in 1776, with the hope that they can tax the landowners retroactively. The state constitution grants them riparian rights on all the land washed by the tides. The question of retroactivity, however, is being fought by the people who have occupied the lands for a long time in peace. The other problem is that the state, although it has constitutional rights to the land, does not know how much land has been left behind by the sea since 1776. So it seems that for now, they can only claim what they can prove that they own. That is where aerial photography came to the rescue. That was the only means of available proof. Photographs presented a graphic record of the growth of the new land being left behind by the sea since 1922. If aerial photography existed back in 1776, it would have revealed that the state of New Jersey has gained 20,000 acres in the 200 years since then. This all land left behind by the receding seas. In New York State, the situation is the same. Starting in 1941, 1,000 acres in Jamaica Bay were reclaimed from the salt marshes by dredging and dumping up the land. The purpose was to build a new airport. The airport, first called Idlewild Airport, started operations in 1948. In 1963, the airport was renamed John F. Kennedy Airport in memory of the president. Because of all the activity in the area over the last 50 years, aerial photography has revealed that the remaining salt marshes in the Bay Area are disappearing. The photo study over successive years have indicated that the marshes are drying up and dying from the shoreline outward. The Environmental Protection Agency has been able to make a detailed study of the marshes over 50 years. This study was in all probability made easier with the assistance of aerial photographic records. The airport area is under constant scrutiny and surveillance from the air. So for this reason, detailed records exist of the salt marshes and their disappearance. This is all to the good. Disappearing salt marshes are an area of great concern to the environment. So a study was made and the results are published on the internet. The sum total of the study is that they don't know why the salt marshes are disappearing, but they are putting forward solutions for solving the problem. The fact is that the sea is receding, and as it recedes, it drains the salt marshes away. The salt marshes will all disappear in time as the sea recedes. All the salt marshes along the east coast of the United States have been disappearing since colonial times. In time, they will all disappear as the sea recedes. The receding seas affects all aspects of our lives, and in this series I will endeavor to show you the many ways in which our lives are influenced by the receding sea. In my last video, The Mysterious Receding Seas, Part 6, I related a graphic example of the receding sea on the coast of New Jersey. The video showed how the state of New Jersey was selling coastal lands left behind by the receding sea. The prime sea frontage is being snapped up by casino and hotel developers as fast as it is deserted by the sea. My last video also showed how and why the salt marshes in Jamaica Bay, New York were disappearing. Now, in order to understand receding seas, we have to look at the bigger and broader picture. We all know the Bible story of Noah and the ark. In the book of Genesis, God instructed Noah to build an ark to save himself, his family, and all the animal species when the great flood came. Noah obeyed God, built the ark, and survived the great flood. He and his family were the only people left to repopulate the earth. The flood covered the entire world, the Bible tells us. When the flood subsided, Noah's ark came to rest on the tallest mountaintop, and that is perfectly logical. For if the earth was covered completely with water, and the waters subsided gradually, the first piece of land to appear would be obviously a mountaintop. This mountaintop has been identified as Mount Ararat in today's Turkey. It is also quite logical that Ararat was the actual mountain, as I will show. It is a long way from the shoreline of New Jersey to the top of Mount Ararat in Turkey. However, there is a direct connection between the story of Noah on Mount Ararat and receding seas in New Jersey. So let us move on. When Noah stepped out of the ark on the top of Mount Ararat, the Lord instructed him to go forth and multiply. He was accompanied by his wife and 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and their sons. As time passed, Noah died, but the family continued to multiply as the Lord had ordained. Noah's great-grandson Nimrod established the city of Nineveh on the Tigris River in what we know as Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia means between the rivers being the Tigris and Euphrates. These 2 rivers rise in the highlands of what we know today as Iraq. Now follow me closely. Nineveh was the capital of ancient Assyria. Noah is hailed as the father of the Assyrian nation. Historians tell us that Nineveh is the oldest city in Assyria. What historians omit to tell us is that not only is Nineveh the oldest in Assyria, it is the oldest city in all of Mesopotamia. The reason for this is that all the other cities established on the Tigris and Euphrates rivers were established one after the other in a downward progression. In other words, Nineveh was the first city established, and all the other cities were established going downward as the sea receded. Now I'm sure you will be surprised to hear this, but it is a fact. The Bible tells us all this so you can read it for yourselves. But then there's more. Abram was born in the city of Ur of the Chaldees, which is established on the Euphrates River in Mesopotamia. Abram is hailed as the father of the Jewish nation. When he was born, Ur was